On 6, only a couple of hours after the marathon sort of finished, I suppose. And this is the start line now. Go on. Nothing left of it. So just pull up near roughly where it was and give my feedback and my analysis of how the race went for myself in it, and then I'll go back and later just do some analysis of figures and stuff, just out of interest. I think so. This is about where the big start sign was. I'm going to pull up here and just run through it. Right, so right at the start, back at the start of the marathon, what's my take on my run today in it? Yeah, started off really strong. I happened to, by the time I got to here, I just happened to be right behind the 3 hour 45 balloons markers, so I thought, right, I'll jump on that. I followed them for the circuit around the park. Felt really good. It was quite crammed, the whole of this section. Not much room to move. Certainly going up there, it was quite tight. There were a couple of people who had left their cars on the street, and that was problematic. But yeah, and after I left the park and got further into town, I passed, just before the viaduct, passed everybody from Note and mum and dad and relatives and stuff, and that was fantastic. And then headed further into town, and by the time I got to the level, I was properly into my pace. So it sort of just got to the right point where there weren't too many people slowing down or whatever, or just in the way, and it was just flattening out right. But it was pretty much my planned pace from the start, which was great. I was definitely positioned myself correctly, and then yeah, going up to Elm Grove, that was actually quite steep, that bit, but I cycle that to work every day. I knew that bit was only short and sweet, and then back down and the stretch out to Ovingdean. Yeah, I was just in a groove the whole race, really was. Went out to the flat part of Ovingdean, out to the village and back, and just felt, actually it isn't flat, it is actually going uphill there. Felt really good. Then I knew there was that slightly steeper section before you loop right back and come towards Brighton. Again, feeling good. Taking my gels periodically. So gel wise, I started off with the plan of doing it every 40 minutes, which is what I trained to do. And then I supped on, whenever I saw a water station, I'd just have a swig of water, wash my mouth out with that, and take 1 or 2 very small sips. And later in the marathon, I was actually swigging it and just spitting it out to get rid of some of the gel taste and stuff, and just trying to get some liquid into my mouth. And again, some tiny amounts of sips. So I was very conscious. I didn't want to have to stop to go to the toilet, and I didn't feel that at all. And then yeah, so doing the gels, but then I did compress that to 30 minutes. That was on the bit section on my last 2-3 gels. I think maybe I had them with 30-minute intervals. There was a point where I just could tell that my body needed it, so I just had to start taking them at 30-minute intervals instead. I had a spare one with me because I thought that might happen. And yeah, that saw me good right to the end. So yeah, coming back from Ovingdean, again no problems, feeling really in my stride. Loved the bit coming down to the pier, it was just electric. Saw my dad and saw my mum and was able to sort of get over to them, which was brilliant. And then headed off down, and I knew Boundary Road was coming up, and that's where I stewarded the marathon last year. Knew it was a long stretch, and I just went, second I sort of got to that point, and it's quite quiet there as well, so you need to have your motivation sorted out. And yeah, I just started doing my counting rotation that I do, so I count to 100 on one foot, and then I swap to my other foot and just filter between that. It just keeps my brain occupied, gives me something to do, and it also the tempo of the pace of the numbers tells me what my pace is basically. And I could tell I was bang on pace by doing that, and that sort of came, and I'd sort of, because I'd stewarded Boundary Road last year, I was a little bit concerned about it, but it was nothing. I just flew down it, flew back up it, and then yeah, out onto. I really felt like I was almost on the home stretch by the time I got to sort of Shore and Port. I mean, there was that that bit from sort of Loopback to Boundary Road, and then sort of back onto Hove Lawns, and then back out to the docks. That felt a little bit long. Just felt, I don't know, felt a bit long. But yeah, then once I was down towards Shoreham Harbour and stuff, it was a breeze. I ran that a lot. I knew it. It felt as if I was on home turf. I knew how I felt in the past there at the end of my long runs or beginning of long runs and stuff, and just felt very, very confident. That confidence came from following my training plan, absolutely to the T, and that just gave me a lot of confidence in my ability. So even when times when my body was sort of feeling a little bit funny, like it did, and then I just changed my gels to a 10-minute earlier, and instantly I could feel my body perk up a bit. It was massive. Also on Boundary Road, actually, just going back there, I did grab a banana. There were people handing out a banana, and I ate half of that before I got to the end of Boundary Road. But yeah, and then back out to the docks. Headed out there, felt really good. Definitely my body was starting to tire. I could feel a few aches and pains just from running for a long time in my body start to kick in. But I could tell that I trained really well, and that my body was ready for it. And I had confidence in that and belief in myself. And then done the loop back, and it really was. Felt like a breeze, to be honest. The bit back. I knew the distance. I knew I could looked at my watch. I could see I was going to come in under 4 minutes. 4 hours. So I felt the pressure off on that, just because that was something I wanted personally to do. And then, just really did sort of just enjoy it, really. By the time I got back to Hove Lawns, there was a really good crowd right on the beach there. There's a couple of spots where the crowd was just electric, and then also from the Grand in all the way to the pier and beyond, it was just absolutely fantastic. Managed to see my wife and her friend, and then also saw another friend as well. It was just brilliant, lots of good support. And fantastic atmosphere. My wife ran with me for a little bit, and her friend took some video, and brilliant, really, really good. And then once I got sort of down to the pier, I could tell I had stuff in the tank left, so I sprinted pretty much as fast as I could from there until the finish. And the last 50 metres were on the edge, I'll tell you. But I got the crowd going as well, and I was just firing on all cylinders, and just feeling really good. And really feeding off the crowd, and getting them to feed off me, so fantastic experience, awesome atmosphere. Highly recommend anybody to do it just once. It really is brilliant. The crowd get behind you. I obviously had my name on my shirt. All I heard the whole course was Dan, go Dan, you can do it, don't give up Dan, all that sort of stuff. Just fantastic, a fantastic day. Got a fantastic result. It was under 4 hours, healthily under 4 hours, and even now I've had got home, had a shower, had a sit down for a while, drank lots of tea, hydrated a lot, Aquarius and liquid. I had 2 protein mixes done, so I had one ready for me at the end in my bag that I picked up, and then one when I got back to the flat as well, just to really sort of boost and give myself as much nutrition as possible. And now I'm out, as I done after the London Marathon. A really good tip that my mate Ian gave me. He said after you do a marathon, go out for a bike ride, just a short one, a little one, just to push all the lactic acid out of your muscles, and just get your legs moving again, but doing something different. And I'd done that after the London Marathon, and it really did work. And I've just come to Preston Park just to catch some video and just see what's going on down here, and just to do a lap and just get my legs moving and push that lactic acid out of my muscles, out of my legs, and feeling good now, feeling good. But what a fantastic day, what a marathon, what a result. I just feel really, really pleased with myself. I feel really, really pleased with the sponsorship I've managed to raise. So anybody that gave some money, I really appreciate it. That also at some tricky moments in the run, really, really do help help motivate you and help you keep going and help you go faster. You know, I could tell at the end I had some more in the tank, so I sprinted to the end. You know, and that's a lot of that comes from people supporting me all the way. You know, friends, family, a lot. You know, people that sponsor. It's a really humbling experience, and as you can tell, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So a week has passed since the Brighton Marathon's finished now, and I've just got my marathon improver plan there that I'm just looking at, and I just noticed I haven't done the actual marathon itself, and that felt fantastic, so I can happily give that a smiley face. And then I've got my actual results times here. So obviously, I know all of this obviously comes from the training, and this I done pretty religiously, I must admit, and just to very quickly going through the faces, mostly smiles, not so good. Week 4 definitely not good, but on the whole, week 8 and 9 they were tough weeks by the looks of it, but week 13, but after that, pretty much except for those, I was, you know, either feeling reasonably good or just exhausted at the end of the week. But yeah, there were some that were really tough, and I think that a lot of that was also to do with the really poor winter we had. Like, it was just rain. It just rained basically. Right. Anyway, into the numbers here. So we've got the actual result times here. Actual chip time. So my actual time, 3 hours 47 minutes and 48 seconds, which is brilliant. Average pace is, so for 1 kilometer is 5 minutes and 24 seconds. So yeah, that's really good pace. I'm happy with that. Average speed 11.11 kilometers per hour. And I know overall I've said that, but actually just in my age category, I'm just still in this age category, the 18 to 40s, this has been my last year here. I was 1,077. But the thing I'm most pleased with to do, you know, with this marathon, the thing that just really stands out to me is my consistent pace. It was really good, I think, and it felt, you know, it felt like it as well. It really did feel just perfect. So, you know, my average pace is the exact pace the first mile is. Look, so the first mile I do bang on my average pace, and then gets a little bit quicker, slows down a little bit, then averages out basically so at the half, you know, like my longest one was 5, well, it was the first one actually, because of the crowds, no doubt. So yeah, was the first mile was my longest stint, was my longest pace. So anyway, we go through, and yeah, just really, so I would have done a half marathon then, that, you know, obviously I wasn't racing a half marathon, I was thinking of the full marathon, but I would have done it in an hour and 50 minutes and 30 seconds. And yeah, just really consistent. It's this time that I'm really happy with. So, and you know, my finishing pace is at 5 minutes and 18. So, you know, almost very close to my starting pace. Couple of 5 minute 18. You know, there are a couple of times that are even the same. 5 minute 18s I can see, 5 minute 14s I can see repeating, 5 minute 15s I can see repeating. So, you know, really am floating around that pace, and you know, there's, if you look at the terrain, you know, there's, like I say at the start, there's obviously that bit behind Preston Park, and I was surprised actually, Ovingdean, that stretch out to Ovingdean, it's a few, you know, I used to cycle that a lot, and yeah, it was just very subtle gradual hills there, but yeah, I mean, on the whole, it was really good. I'm just so pleased with everything really, but particularly just the way that pace has gone throughout the race. You know, because I don't have any music in my ears. I don't have any. I know if you watch back some of my training vlogs, you know, I was talking about maybe getting a click time or some sort of tempo in my ear, but I didn't, and all I've done is just use my feet and counting, and just basically using my understanding of tempo and rhythm to keep my pace, and it's worked out brilliantly. You know, really good. really happy with that result. You know, this went absolutely perfect. Didn't get any colds, no issues there. You know, that's from just living cleanly and eating really well, and sleeping really well. You know, sleeping at the right times and getting enough rest on days when I need rest, as well as doing the work that was needed. And then that just comes back and shows it on paper and in the result and in how I was feeling at the end. So thumbs up all round. Brighton Marathon 2018, absolutely fantastic experience. I actually loved pretty much every minute of the run. It was just brilliant.